Heart to Heart Catholic Media Ministry, in association with Bellarmine Jesuit Retreat House, presents And the Word Was Made Flesh, Incarnation Reflections for Advent and Christmas.
Today's presenter is Dr. Terry Nelson Johnson. Dr. Terry served on the faculty of the Loyola Academy Jesuit High School for 18 years and is founder of Soul Play LLC. He is resident theologian and animator of faith at Old St. Pat's Church, holds a master's degree from Loyola University, and a doctor of ministry from the University of St. Mary of the Lake. Now let's listen to Dr. Terry's reflection.
Seems to me that we have done a disservice to Advent and Christmas and the Incarnation by, making them nice and cute and predictable and a children's pageant. And like, who doesn't like the Christmas Eve Christmas pageant? You know, the angel has a wing that's broke, and then Joseph is about a foot shorter than Mary, and then his rope belt invariably falls off, and the little guy playing the stars' arms just become frozen, and he just says, "That's all for me." You know, so like that's got to be the greatest story ever. However, I wonder if the Incarnation and Christmas are not really cute. So this story captures a little bit of that for me. The time of the story, my wife and I are planning to go to a very, very delayed honeymoon, like the 10-year delay. And so we have our kids prepared to go with friends, et cetera. Everybody's packed. And we get that phone call that you just hope is, a prank phone call because it's 3:11 a.m. It's not a prank phone call. We are alerted that my father-in-law's had a heart attack. And we get the proverbial, if you want to see your dad and grandpa, you should probably come as soon as possible. So in lieu of going to Mexico, to one of the coolest places ever, apparently, with hammocks, we go to Philadelphia. And my brother-in-law says, before we get in the plane, you should decide whether you want your kids to see dad in the condition that he's in before you get here, because that'll depend on where we go after the airport. So we talk and we decide that we want our kids to see their grandpa and have a chance to say goodbye. Our kids are 10 and 7, and we describe to them as best we can the circumstances that we will see upon getting to the hospital, and that they'll have about 5 minutes to say goodbye to grandpa. So we go in, and you can all imagine what that was like. And our kids are very tender. They love this man. He was a beautiful guy. And he used to have my son come and sit on his recliner chair before my son would go to bed. And he would do some joke with him. And then he would tap my son's chest and said, "You have a good heart, Ian. You have a really good heart." And then he'd like, "Go to bed." So Ian would climb off the chair. So I tell the kids, you have about a minute left to say goodbye to grandpa. So whatever you need to say, you can do it now. And they both, are awkward and tender and beautiful. And Ian is rubbing my father-in-law's forearm. And then I tell him, that'll be about it, you guys. You got to go. And you can't come back. You'll be with your cousins, et cetera, et cetera. So they leave. And then the nurses come in and begin to talk us through the process of taking my father-in-law off the mechanism that helped him breathe. You all know what that is. So my son comes back in about a minute later, and I'm a little disturbed because I told him, like, you can't come back in. He's like, no, Dad, I got to tell you something. So I said, he makes me go down to his ear and he says, "Dad, that wasn't enough." I'm like, what? It's like, that wasn't enough. Like, what do you mean? It's like, if that's the last time that I'm going to see Grandpa, that wasn't enough. I'm like, well, what would be enough, Ian? He said, I just need to get in bed with him. Like I used to get in the recliner chair with him. Like, okay. Ask people if they would give us a minute. And then I lower the bed rail and I pick Ian up and I awkwardly put him on the bed with his grandfather. And then he whispers a couple things into his ears, and then he just holds him. And then he takes his hand and he pats his grandfather's chest and he says, "You have a good heart, Grandpa. You have a really good heart." And then he turns to me and he says, "That was better, Dad. That was enough." And he climbs off the bed and he goes out. I don't want to suggest that I understand the Incarnation. but it has something to do with our bodies, these bodies. And when I saw my son in bed with his grandpa, it was like the Pieta. And it was the most beautiful Christmas present is these two bodies, one 76 years old and one 10 years old, just sort of together. Oh, I revel in the incarnation. I revel in the fact that we are in relationship with a God who somehow knows what it's like to be held and to hold. I think this was in March, but it might as well have been December 25th, celebrating the incarnation. That wasn't enough, Dad. I think isn't that the message? Isn't that God's message of the incarnation? Like turning to the world and like that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. Like, what do you mean? I have to get with them. I have to get in bed with them. I have to go play soccer with them. I have to dance with them. I have to listen to music with them. I have to laugh and weep with them. That wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. You can imagine on Christmas morning, God saying, that was enough. That's enough. The incarnation is enough. Mm. And then Christmas morning leads to the Pieta. Christmas and Easter are dance partners. And so what starts at Christmas crescendos at Easter, and it all has to do with the incarnation. I am with you. I am with you. That wasn't enough. Oh, that was enough. Heart to heart community, you have a good heart. You have a really good heart. Blessed Advent and Merry Christmas.
Let's take 1 minute to think about today's incarnation reflection. If you're inspired to share any of your own thoughts, please put them in the comment section below the video. What in this incarnation reflection resonates with your own experience? What do you want to say to the Lord today? And what might the Lord be saying to you? Thanks for listening to today's Incarnation Reflection with Dr. Terry Nelson Johnson. Be sure to click in tomorrow for more inspiring words by a new speaker, Father Sean Grismer. We encourage you to invite your family and friends to experience our series by going to htoh.us/Advent. These inspiring messages continue through January 4th with a new Father Michael video each Sunday and an audio reflection each weekday by one of 10 gifted presenters.
From all of us here at Heart to Heart, we wish you a holy and happy season of grace. And may God bless your heart and the hearts of all your loved ones.